Why? Harry turned down. Kat and how it sets up? MobLand Season 2's new war? What if I told you, the biggest war in MobLand hasn't even started yet? Harry didn't just say no to Kat McAllister, he declared war on a woman who sees everything 5 moves ahead. And here's the twist. It was never about loyalty, it was about survival. But now, the survival game just changed. Forever. We thought the Stevenson bloodbath was the end. But in episode 10, as the smoke cleared and London's underworld momentarily fell silent, a new monster stepped out of the shadows. Kat McAllister, the woman behind every twist, every double cross, and maybe every death. And Harry just slammed the door in her face. The question isn't why he did it, it's how long he has left. Let's go back, all the way back. From episode 1, Harry Da Souza has walked a razor's edge between loyalty and morality. He's not a saint, he's not even a soldier, he's a survivor. But what do you do when survival means betraying the one thing you've clung to your entire life? Because that's the question Kat McAllister dropped in front of him, cold and calculated. Harry, work with me, or burn with them. And the worst part? She wasn't bluffing. She never bluffs. She didn't flinch when she handed over Serafina Harrigan's location. She didn't hesitate to broker peace with Jaime Lopez, one of the most feared cartel lords in the Western Hemisphere. She played every move like a master pianist tapping ivory keys of death and power. And Harry still said no. Here's what most MobLand fans missed. Kat wasn't asking for a favor. She was offering him freedom, a way out. No more Harrigan blood on his hands, no more dead friends. No more executing Kevin's orders while pretending he still has a soul. But Harry, he can't say yes. Not because of Kevin, not even because of Serafina, but because Harry's code is the last piece of his identity he hasn't lost. It's his armor in a world where everyone's mask is cracking. So, he stayed loyal, and in doing so, he might have just doomed everyone. Subscribe now, because the next 5 minutes will reveal exactly how Kat plans to gut the Harrigans from the inside, and how Season 2 is setting up an international crime war, unlike anything you've seen. Think Kat's just a criminal? Think again. Rumors are everywhere. CIA asset gone rogue. MI6 ghost operative with diplomatic immunity, a woman with no digital record, no known allies, and no visible fear. But here's what we do know. She controls Jaime Lopez, the cartel boss who gave Conrad the muscle to take South London. And if she flips Jaime, the Harrigans are done. And Harry's not even a soldier in that war. He's a loose end. Think about it. Has anyone seen her bleed, cry, lose control? Her power doesn't come from threats. It comes from precision, calculated patience, the way she lets you think you have a choice. But Kat's already chosen her next move, and Harry just became her pawn, or her proof. The true reason Kat wants the Harrigans wiped out the one secret that would make Harry betray them, and the international war that might already be in motion. But before we continue, ask yourself, was Harry's loyalty a mistake, or was it his final act of defiance in a game no one survives? Last time we asked, what if Kat already knew Harry would say no? Well, here's the darker truth. She wanted him to refuse. Because in Kat McAllister's world, loyalty isn't an asset, it's a weakness. And now that Harry's exposed his, she knows exactly how to break him. Kat didn't walk into that cafe to negotiate. She came to confirm one thing, that Harry Da Souza still believes in honor. She smiled when he said no, because that meant he was still tied to the Harrigans, and that meant she could use him to destroy them from within. Because what's the easiest way to destroy an empire? You don't fight the general. You turn the soldier into a liability. Harry just became that liability. You've seen Jaime Lopez. You've seen what he can do with a phone call and a whisper. But you haven't seen Kat's full reach yet. Hidden airstrips in Kenya. Offshore accounts linked to oligarchs. Shell corporations used to launder war money through fake charities. And somehow, this woman, who never travels with a bodyguard, can walk into any room and get exactly what she wants. Because she knows what every man fears, what every killer regrets, what every loyal dog eventually dreams of. Escape. That's what she offered Harry. And now that he said no, she'll bury him in that dream until he begs her for it? Let's stop pretending Harry's doing this for Kevin. Kevin Harrigan is falling apart. He's paranoid, unstable, haunted by ghosts of men he ordered killed 10 years ago. The real reason Harry stays? Serafina. It's always been Serafina. Not romantically, not even out of guilt, but because Serafina Harrigan is the only person who's ever looked Harry in the eyes and seen a person, not a weapon. And Kat knows that, which is why her next move is Serafina. In the background, Kat's already begun tightening the noose. Look at the last 5 minutes of episode 10. The phone call Serafina ignored? From Kat. The subtle look Jaime gave Conrad at the docks? A signal? The SUV tailing Harry 2 scenes later? Kat's men. She's not waiting for Season 2 to start. She's already playing. If you've been watching MobLand casually, stop. Because starting now, the show isn't just about crime, it's about survival, about how power shifts in silence, and about the one woman who's rewritten every rule since episode 1. So if you want the next chapter before the rest of the world wakes up to what's coming, hit subscribe. Because in the next segment, we uncover Kat's true motive, and why MobLand Season 2 might end with Harry dead by his own hand. Here's where it gets even darker. What if Kat doesn't want Harry at all? What if he's a smokescreen? What if the real target is Maeve? Think about it. Maeve Harrigan isn't just the enforcer, she's the Fury. The one person who doesn't play chess. She flips the board, and that makes her unpredictable. Dangerous. The kind of problem Kat McAllister doesn't allow to exist for long. If Kat can provoke Maeve, if she can get her to act without Kevin's approval, she creates chaos inside the Harrigans. A crack. One that Harry will be forced to cover alone. And when that happens, Kat doesn't have to fire a single shot. She just watches as the Harrigans turn on themselves. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Kat underestimated something. Harry's not just loyal, he's tactical. And while he's walking into her trap, he's leaving breadcrumbs, encrypted dead drops, old MI5 codes from his past life, signals that someone, maybe Serafina, might still catch in time. Which begs the question, is Harry really being manipulated, or is he playing Kat, just long enough to burn everything down? The secret mission Harry ran in Lebanon, and why it's finally catching up to him, how Maeve's rage may be the only thing that saves the Harrigans, and the coded message hidden in Episode 10's final scene, one that points to Kat's master plan. Because MobLand Season 2 isn't about drugs, or guns, or even territory. It's about legacy, and who's willing to burn the world just to leave a name behind. In the last chapter, we revealed the unthinkable. Kat McAllister may not even want Harry. She may want Maeve. But what if none of them are the real target? What if the true war in MobLand Season 2 is about erasing a secret buried 10 years ago? One so dangerous that even Conrad Harrigan doesn't know it exists. One tied to Harry's classified past. Loop back. Because what if Harry didn't turn Kat down to protect the Harrigans? What if he did it to protect the truth? For a full season, MobLand has painted Harry Da Souza as the loyal, deadly shadow, the gunman with a conscience. But let's crack that surface. Because long before Harry worked for the Harrigans, before he became Kevin's blade in the dark, before he met Serafina, he was on assignment. Official, Black Ops, off book. Rumors point to 2015, a city in flames, a CIA mission gone sideways, a betrayal so buried it required wiping entire records from government servers, and one of the only surviving agents? Harry, Dr. Souza. You've probably never heard of Operation Blue Carbon. That's because it was never meant to be known. But leaked British intelligence points to an op involving arms, trafficking routes through Beirut-disguised diplomatic channels, and a series of disappearances connected to cartel-linked warlords. Harry was embedded. Deep, too deep. The mission fell apart, not because of enemy fire, but because of a double cross from within his own unit. 2 of his team were found dead. 1 was never found at all, and the last one standing, Harry, wounded, silent, alone. Now, fast forward. What does this have to do with Kat? Everything. Because Kat McAllister may have been part of that operation. Or worse, she ordered it. This is where things spiral. If Kat McAllister was connected to Blue Carbon, then she knows Harry's deepest secret. She knows he wasn't just a soldier, he was part of a cover-up. And if that truth ever comes to light, it doesn't just destroy Harry, it could bring down foreign intelligence agencies, cartel alliances, and the fragile balance holding the London underworld together. So what does Kat do? She uses it. A single file, a single whisper, "Help me, Harry, or I let the world see who you really are." Meanwhile, Serafina isn't blind. She sees the change in Harry, the distant eyes, the quiet steps, the bruised knuckles, and then she finds it, a note hidden beneath a floorboard in Harry's safe house. One sentence, "If you read this, they found me." No name, no date, no context, just panic, inked in Harry's own handwriting. That's when Serafina realizes this isn't just about Kat, this isn't just about loyalty, this is about survival, and it might already be too late. You've seen MobLand, but have you decoded it? Because every episode has been hiding the truth in plain sight. Kat's real identity, Harry's fractured past, and the ticking time bomb that Season 2 will unleash across 3 continents. Subscribe now, because the next act is global, and when the dominoes fall, it won't just be London that bleeds. Here's where things get dangerous. What if Kat isn't even the final boss? What if she's just a messenger, a mid-level queen in a game run by invisible kings? That's where the Syndicate comes in. Whispers in the dark, faceless names, accounts tied to global coups and failed peace talks. And they've noticed Kat, they've watched her rise, and now they're watching Harry. Because if he's capable of resisting her, he might be a threat, or a tool. And the Syndicate doesn't leave either on the table. Suddenly, it's no longer about Harry versus Categoria or Kat versus the Harrigans. It's about who's pulling the strings behind them all. Harry thought he was protecting his chosen family. Kat thought she was recruiting a loyal assassin. But the Syndicate? They see them all as expendable because MobLand Season 2 won't be a fight for the throne. It'll be a fight to escape the board altogether. The encrypted coordinates hidden in Episode 10's final 30 seconds. Why Maeve Harrigan might be Kat's sister? Yes, really. And the prison break scene that may already be filmed for Season 2's mid-season climax. Kat isn't just playing the game, she's breaking it. And Harry? He's running out of moves. Last time we uncovered a devastating truth. Kat McAllister might have ties to Harry's Black Ops past, but the web doesn't stop there. Because now, a new theory is emerging, one that could blow MobLand's mythology wide open. What if Maeve Harrigan isn't really a Harrigan at all? What if she's Kat's blood? Because when you realize Maeve might be the missing piece in Kat's master plan, everything changes. It started as a fan theory, a strange resemblance, the same intensity in the eyes. The way Kat spoke about Maeve in Episode 7, almost like a mother mourning a daughter, or a sister resenting one, but now the pieces are aligning. A birth certificate with redacted parent names, a photo buried in a prison file from 1996, and a shared tattoo on their wrists, a barely visible black crescent etched into the skin. Coincidence? Not in Kat's world. If Maeve and Kat are sisters, half or full, then Harry's refusal didn't just insult a powerful enemy, he insulted family. And if Kat came back for anything, it might have been Maeve herself. Maeve is chaos wrapped in loyalty, violent, volatile, and bound to the Harrigans by a thread of trauma and revenge. But imagine this. What if she finds out the Harrigans aren't her real family? What if Kat offers her something the Harrigans never did? The truth, answers, control, legacy. Then you no longer have Kat versus the Harrigans. You have Kat and Maeve together, and that's unstoppable. Kat McAllister doesn't kill her enemies. She breaks them, mentally, emotionally, slowly. She doesn't force Maeve to betray Kevin. She leaves a file where Maeve will find it. She doesn't ask Harry to abandon the family. She forces Serafina to question his every move. Every piece of her plan is built on one strategy. Let them destroy themselves. And if Kat's patient, she doesn't have to lift a finger. She just has to wait for Maeve to choose her. And then there's Serafina. She was always the heart of the Harrigans, the balance between chaos and order. But Kat knows exactly how to rip that heart out. She starts by manipulating Serafina's grief, reminding her of what she lost, then feeding her just enough doubt. Was Harry ever really loyal? Was Conrad lying about the Lopez deal? Did Kevin kill their father? Kat doesn't answer the questions, she just lets them rot. And by the time Serafina realizes what's happening, the family is already fractured. MobLand isn't just about who dies next, it's about who breaks first. Kat doesn't want territory, she wants control, psychological, personal, permanent. If you're still watching without subscribing, you're missing the game, behind the game. Because next, we'll show you the real meaning of the crescent tattoo, the secret recording hidden in Kevin's vault, and why Maeve's last kill might not have been sanctioned. Subscribe now, because by the time we finish this breakdown, the war may have already begun. Episode 10, minute 27. Kevin opens his private vault to retrieve documents, but if you listen closely, there's a click, a tap. He begins to play. At first, it's static, then a voice. Harry, if you're hearing this, it means she found me. Do not trust the woman in red. The voice is distorted, male, but vaguely familiar. Some fans believe it's Kevin's father, others think it's an MI6 handler from Harry's past, but the timing is chilling, because 24 hours after this moment, Kat meets with Harry. She's wearing red. Kat is no longer asking for alliances, she's making moves. In Episode 11's leaked production notes, a scene takes place in Istanbul, a meeting between Lopez and a mystery woman from London. It's Kat, which means Lopez might be switching sides. And Harry? He'll be caught in a trap with no exits, because once Jaime Lopez betrays the Harrigans, Kat has the numbers, the drugs, the ports, the mercenaries, and, if the theory is true, the Harrigans' most dangerous weapon, Maeve. But what does Kat really want? Control of London? A personal vendetta? Revenge? Maybe. But there's another theory, far more chilling, that Kat isn't building an empire. She's cleaning house, erasing old sins, tying up loose ends, and the last loose end on her list, Harry Da Souza. In the shadows of Istanbul, Kat McAllister makes her move, a whisper, a signature. One handshake later, and Jaime Lopez, the Harrigans' most important ally, is no longer loyal. He's hers, and with that quiet betrayal, the next MobLand war has begun. But the Harrigans don't know it yet, and by the time they do, it'll be too late. Because when Kat flips Lopez, she doesn't just gain an ally, she inherits everything. Jaime has always been the wild card. Powerful, unapologetically violent, but calculated. The only reason he sided with the Harrigans in Season 1? Kat arranged the meeting. She connected Lopez to Conrad, to Kevin, to Serafina. She built that bridge. And now, in Season 2, she's going to burn it down. Why? Because Lopez never owed loyalty to the Harrigans. He owed it to the highest bidder. and Kat just made him an offer no one walks away from. Control of East London's ports, exclusive arms routes through Europe, and one more thing, a name. We don't know it yet, but Kat whispered a name to Lopez during their Istanbul meeting, and whatever she said, it made him smile. Was it the name of someone he thought was dead, or a future target? Meanwhile, Harry starts to feel the shift. Weapons drop points, disappear, surveillance patterns, change. And Lopez? He's gone dark. Harry knows what this means. He's been on too many missions. He's read this playbook before, and for the first time, he realizes Kat's not just attacking from the outside. She's burrowed inside the Harrigan network, and every time he closes his eyes, he sees the same thing. Serafina covered in blood. Kevin screaming. Maeve gone. Because that's Kat's ultimate play. Turn the Harrigans against each other and make Harry choose who dies. Kevin Harrigan has ruled the London underworld for years, but his grip is slipping. The betrayal of Lopez breaks something in him. Not because he trusted Jaime, but because Serafina did. And now, Kevin starts asking questions. Dangerous ones. Did Serafina make side deals? Did she know about Kat's approach? Is Harry still protecting her? More than him? His paranoia consumes him, and when Kevin finally loses control, he puts a hit on his own sister. MobLand just flipped the chessboard. The biggest threat isn't from outside, it's from within. Kat doesn't have to lift a weapon. Kevin's about to do her work for her. You need to subscribe, because the next 5 minutes will unravel. The coded message hidden in Maeve's last phone call, Kevin's deal with the devil, and a flash-forward scene showing one Harrigan dying by another's hand. This isn't about crime anymore, it's about annihilation. And then Maeve vanishes. No note, no trace, no blood, just a final message on a burner phone. Don't look for me. If you do, we both die. Who's we? Harry and Serafina? Maeve and Kat? Or something more unthinkable? Kat and Maeve, working together. Remember that crescent tattoo? It's not ganging, it's a symbol, one link to the Syndicate. And if Maeve has ties to them, then Kat's already won. But not everyone is falling apart. Conrad, twisted and brutal, sees opportunity. With Kevin spiraling and Maeve gone, he makes his move. He reaches out to Kat, not to fight, but to serve. He offers her intel, roots, weaknesses. He tells her where to find Serafina, and in return, he wants Harry's head. Because to Conrad, there's only one thing worse than a traitor, a loyal dog who refuses to break. So where does that leave Harry? Hunted by his own crew, abandoned by Lopez, unsure if Maeve is friend or foe, and haunted by the possibility that Kat's plan is already done. All that's left is the execution. But here's the twist. Harry might have one move left. A secret play from his Black Ops past, a name he's never said aloud. And in the final seconds of episode 11's teaser, we see him dial a number and say only 3 words. Activate Zero Watch. We don't know what that means, but we will, and when we do, MobLand will never be the same again. One name, one code, 3 words. Activate Zero Watch. And with that, Harry Da Souza doesn't just respond to a threat, he launches a protocol that hasn't been used in over a decade. A relic from the shadows of failed regimes and black market coups. But here's the truth no one wants to say. If Zero Watch is real, it means MobLand is about to collapse, from the inside out. Loop back. Because what if Kat didn't plan for Zero Watch? What if Harry just outplayed the entire board? What is Zero Watch? The Ghost Protocol. Let's break it down. Zero Watch isn't just an alert, it's a ghost protocol, an off-grid, intelligence failsafe from the early 2000s, rumored to have been created by a rogue MI6 cell that vanished after a botched operation in Belarus. The idea was simple. If a spy embedded too deeply went dark, or worse, became a target, they could trigger Zero Watch. What followed? Immediate blackout of all digital traces, activation of sleeper assets across Europe, and, if necessary, extraction by force. So when Harry says it out loud in episode 11's teaser, he's not calling for help. He's calling a storm. We've heard whispers, names dropped in side dialogue, faces blurred in flashbacks. Now they're coming back. Zero Watch means old agents are waking up. Men and women who haven't killed in years. One in Berlin, one in Rome, one in Glasgow, nicknamed the Gardener, a hitman who plants evidence as carefully as he buries bodies, and one in Belfast, an Irish nationalist turned intelligence assassin. Real name, unknown. Codename, Crocheted. If Crocheted answers Zero Watch, Kat's empire will bleed, and this is where things get strange. For the first time in the entire series, Kat McAllister hesitates. A satellite image from a military drone flashes across her desk. We don't know what it shows, but her hand shakes. She makes one call, not to Lopez, not to Conrad, but to someone listed only as Owl, and she says, Zero Watch is active. Initiate burn directive. What is the burn directive? We're not sure, but one theory suggests it's Kat's nuclear option, a plan to clean the board, wipe out all assets, destroy safe houses, erase history, and if that happens, everyone dies. We are no longer in the realm of gangland politics. This is deep state warfare, ghosts of operations buried under 10 layers of deniability, and one man caught in the middle. Subscribe now because the next 10 minutes will expose Kat's origin inside the Omega Index program, Harry's missing year after Beirut, and a syndicate map that points to MobLand's true war zone, Zurich. If you're still watching casually, wake up. Harry activates Zero Watch, and less than 72 hours later, someone tries to kill him. Not Kat, not Kevin, the syndicate. Why? Because Zero Watch doesn't just protect assets, it also marks threats, and Harry may now be seen as a liability by both sides. A coded warning appears on a darknet forum. Da Souza is no longer dormant. Remove. This means Harry has a bounty on his head, one large enough to mobilize underground teams across 4 countries. Everything points to Zurich. Kat has a hidden bank there, codenamed Basilisk. Lopez's next drop is marked near Interlaken, and a Harrigan account with ties to Kevin's father just pinged there after 6 years of silence. Zurich isn't just neutral ground, it's the eye of the storm. And in leaked Season 2 scripts, Zurich is where 3 major characters will finally meet face to face. Harry, Kat, Serafina, only 2 walk away. But this isn't about the fight, it's about the betrayal. Because we now know, thanks to production insiders, that in Zurich, one core character flips. They join Kat. They hand her something critical, a data chip. We don't know what's on it, but it's enough to make Kat pause her burn directive. And whatever's on that chip, it's tied to Harry's daughter. Wait, what? Yes. The final twist of this page. Harry has a child, hidden, protected, unknown to the Harrigans. And now, Kat knows. The moment Kat learns Harry has something left to lose, she changes the game, not with a bullet, not with a threat, but with a whisper. And the final line of episode 11, Kat to Serafina, tell him, if he doesn't hand over the chip by midnight, the girl dies. Harry has a daughter, Kat knows, and now the rules are gone. This isn't a war anymore, it's a purge, and it all leads to one place. The Red Room, a hidden compound buried beneath Zurich. No windows, no doors, just blood, silence, and one rule. Only the debtors leave. Loop back, because when Kat whispers, the girl dies at midnight, she's not threatening Harry, she's testing him. The Red Room is legend, mobsters speak of it in riddles. Spies won't acknowledge it exists, but it does. An execution chamber, a negotiation pit, a final arena. Only those with unsettled debts are summoned. No guards, no weapons, just sealed doors and the truth. Episode 12 will be titled All Debts Final. And the plot? 3 people enter, Harry, Serafina, Kat. But here's the twist. Kat didn't bring Harry there to kill him. She brought him to make him choose. Inside the Red Room, Kat reveals everything. A holographic screen flickers to life. Footage plays. Harry's daughter, maybe 10 years old, walking in a courtyard, safe, for now. Then Kat speaks. You give me the chip. You walk away. Your daughter lives. You keep your pride. She dies. And I bury her next to your mother. The room is silent. And here's the dark genius. Kat doesn't bluff. She doesn't need to. She's already killed Harry's past. Now she's threatening his future. But then, something unexpected. Serafina pulls a gun, points it at Kat, and says one word, no. You'd think Kat would panic. She doesn't. She smiles. Because Kat knew Serafina would snap. She needed her to. Because the real goal was never Harry. It was breaking Serafina. Kat wanted Serafina to see what loyalty costs, and now, she's watching her unravel. We're in the final 10 minutes of Season 2. Lives are no longer being threatened. They're being weighed. Every decision is fatal, every truth is a trigger. Subscribe now, because next, we'll show you the true identity of Harry's daughter's mother, the Syndicate's master agenda, resetting the criminal elite, and the flash-forward ending that shows Harry with blood on his hands, but not his own. Kat didn't come for peace, she came for annihilation. In a devastating twist, Harry realizes he's been tracked. Not by Kat, not by Lopez, but by someone inside Zero Watch. One of the old agents has flipped, and the chip Kat wanted? It's not just intel, it's a list of syndicate names embedded across global governments. If leaked, it would ignite a war between cartels, intelligence communities, and financial empires. If kept hidden, Kat controls them all, so who gave her the access? We find out in the final 3 minutes. It's Maeve. She walks into the Red Room, not armed, not hostile, calm, and she drops the chip at Kat's feet. It's done, she says. Kat looks at Harry, then Maeve, then back to Harry, and she whispers, she's not your daughter, she's ours. Black screen. Suddenly, everything we knew was a lie. Harry thought he had a daughter. Now we don't know who the girl really is, a tool, a clone, a syndicate heir, and Maeve? Did she betray the Harrigans, or save them? Because if Maeve and Kat are aligned, then every kill Maeve's ever made may have been part of a longer game, one that only now reaches its conclusion, the origin of the child tied to Kat and Harry. The Red Room verdict, who lives, who dies, who betrays again, and the shocking 2-minute scene that previews MobLand Season 3. Kat has rewritten the rules, Maeve has redrawn the family, and Harry, he's about to do something no one will come back from.